Hi guys, Dan from Hooked on Golf here with Golf Physio Billy Troy. He's here to put me through a golf assessment. Take it away, Billy.
Yeah, thanks Dan, thanks for having me. So we're going to go through a golf assessment today, and what a golf assessment is, it includes a swing analysis, it includes a screening which is designed by the Titleist Performance Institute, and it also includes some physiotherapy assessments as well that I typically do with my clients. So what we'll do with Dan, we'll take him through the process, and at the end we'll talk about it and see where Dan can potentially improve his golf. Alrighty, so the first part of the assessment is a swing assessment. So a swing assessment, it's not a golf lesson as such. I'm looking at movements of the body that might potentially cause injury, where you might have power leaks as well, where we can try and potentially improve performance and consistency. So I'll look at Dan's swing from face on and also from down the line. I'll record it and I'll bring up any movements that might need to improve and also talk to his golf coach about that as well. So let's have a look at your swing, Dan, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so from Dan's swing, what we saw was some early extension at impact. And what early extension is, it's where the backside comes closer towards the ball prior to impact. Most professionals at impact, they're getting their front side rotated, and also their spine isn't coming into this arch position and flex position here. So with Dan, what we're going to look at in his assessment to see if he has any limitations that is stopping him from getting to this position. Early extension is a position which may cause back injuries, hip injuries, and also cause power leaks because it's quite hard to use the ground from that position. So we'll do some more testing and see if things correlate with Dan's movement. Alrighty, so we're going to take Dan through the TPI assessment, and I use an app through my phone which is designed by TPI to develop a scoring system. At the end of the screening, we'll have a handicap or a golf fitness handicap for Dan. And then we'll take him through what we found, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And from there, it's going to give us some insight where to take Dan physically after that, whether it's doing some stretching, doing some strength work, or a bit of both to help his golf game. So Dan, what we'll do first is get you side onto the camera here in your typical setup position. So I want you just to assume how you normally set up for the golf swing. So as we're going through the assessment, I'm going to be touching my phone to tick a couple of boxes as we go along. So Dan's standing in a nice posture there, so I'm happy with that. The next one we'll do, Dan, is hands across your chest, trying to stick your backside out. And from there, we're going to try and go the other way, trying to tuck the hips in, trying to keep your shoulders really stable. So let's do that a few times. And let's try and get you arching out as much as you can. So with this movement, you can see Dan's shoulders move a little bit, and he's a little bit shaky as his back arches there. We'll also let you know that Dan's had the back surgery in the past, which may prevent him from arching excessively in the lower back. So Dan's struggling with the pelvic tilt. Any thoughts or feelings around that one, mate?
Yeah, it's quite tight on my lower back there from the muscles, as you said.
Yeah.
So I had my L4, L5S used a few years ago.
Okay. Next one we'll do, so I'll get you standing face onto the camera here, Dan. We'll get you into your golf posture again. What we're going to try and do is keep your shoulders facing the camera. I'm going to get you to try and open up your hips. That's it. So let's try that again. You'll just try and keep your shoulders level here, mate. So turning the hips each direction, and we'll try that a few times. So in this movement, we're trying to see Dan separate the hips whilst keeping the torso straight on with the camera. So we're looking at hip internal rotation each direction. Does that feel any different to you, Dan, going either way?
It's more tight on the right side of my body.
Okay. And do you feel that in the lower back, or is it more so?
Or lower back, yeah.
Okay. And let's now get you in that same posture. We're going to keep a slight bend in the knees, and we're going to try and rotate just the shoulders now. Good. Let's try the same way, just slowing that down a little bit, and just keeping that bend in the knees there, mate. And let's go the other way. Good, let's try 2 more times going towards your left. And how does that one feel compared to your right?
A bit more tight, yeah.
That's right. And it's good that Dan's aware of some of these movements, because I can obviously see things that are going on, and it's good to just correlate that back with Dan to make sure we're on the right path. Alright, next one we're going to do, mate, is a toe touch. So I want you to slowly reach towards the toes. We'll do that a few times. Alrighty. Perfect. And now we're going into a squat, mate. So your hands across your chest and trying to squat down as deep as you can. Good form. And with the squat test, we have a couple of progressions. So you're quite good doing that action there. Next, you'll have this club above your head. You're trying to keep the posture upright. You're going to try and go through the full squat. Perfect. Let's try 2 more of those down. Perfect. Good. So I'll take that one away from you. We'll get you side onto the camera here again in your golf posture.
Yep.
And what you're going to do is bring your elbow up in line with the shoulder. So you're going to be in that position there. And you're going to try and just rotate this forearm. So you can let go of the hands. You're going to try and rotate back that way as far as you can. Good. Let's try that a few times here, mate. And what we're looking for in this action is Dan trying to line up that elbow with his spine, which he can do there, so that looks great. So I'll get you now with your other side facing the camera there, Dan. We'll look at the same action. So elbow up high with the left side, and same thing. We want to try and see that arm come back in line with the upper back here. And it looks like that's more of a struggle for Dan. What do you feel there, mate?
Tighten the elbow, but that's the one that I can't straighten out.
Okay, and that's another thing to note as well with Dan, so elbow injury. How long ago was that one?
25 years.
25 years ago, which is going to obviously have some adhesions and maybe limitations in the elbow as well. Yeah. And do you want to talk to the audience about your past injuries and medical history as well?
Yeah. So I stuck my ligaments in my elbow when I was 11, so I can't go fully out, and I'm missing muscle in my left elbow. I had my L405S fused about 15 years ago, and in a bike accident about 15 years ago too, I snapped ligaments in my knee.
Yeah, so obviously an extensive medical history, and which may add into some of the assessments that we do today. Alrighty, let's look at your balance now, mate. So you're going to face the camera here. You're going to have your leg upright there. I want you to hold that for 10 seconds with the eyes open to start with. We're going to the other side now, thanks. And now we're going back to the right side. I want you to close your eyes now, Dan, having the hands across your chest, holding that as long as you can.
Eyes closed, Sid?
Eyes closed. Okay, let's do that one more time. And ideally for this one, we're looking for about 15 seconds with the eyes closed.
Well, no, that's the bad knee.
Okay. Good, and let's try the other side. Let's try that once more, and I'll get you to try and have the legs slightly separated there as well, Dan, so they're not touching. But already looks a bit easier on that left side.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Let's grab these golf clubs now, so you'll keep that same position. This is one of the more important tests, I think, in the TPI screen, which is hip rotation. And the biggest things I normally see with the golfers is lack of hip rotation, shoulder rotation, and upper back rotation. And in a golf swing, you need a lot of that to set the club in the right position and then get into good impact alignments as well. So we're going to have a 7-iron and a 6-iron. So we're going to get these facing that direction and this direction. So the club head will be here. You've got the 6-iron going along the head of the iron. So I might just jump in there for a second, sorry Dan. So what I'll get you to do, mate, is your right foot's going to be back a touch, let's say a few inches, hands on your hips, and I want you to try and rotate as far as you can. You'll make sure the pressure's on your toe, just so you're not rolling too much and cheating, and you'll try and just open up. So let's give that a try. That looks good.
Just rotate.
Yeah, just trying to rotate and open up towards your left. Alrighty, let's try that one more time. And what I'll do now, you'll keep that same position. I'm just going to grab this club. So let's try that same test. We're going to see if you match up to this club on the outside here. So where your hip angle is, you're closer to here. We want you a bit further around. So where do you feel that?
Tightness in the lower back.
Okay. And it's interesting you say that, because with this movement, there's been some research to suggest that if you lack hip rotation, the lower back can be tighter, or there's a correlation in back tightness, especially on your right side if you're a right-hander. And the reason for that is it's harder to get into this impact position that we saw you struggle with. So that extension movement you have at impact may be related to this. Alrighty, so let's try now the opposite side. So you're going to have your right foot here now, and you're going to try and have your left foot back a touch, and you're opening up there. Okay, so it looks like you've got a bit more freedom doing that one. We'll test it in a moment to see if it's where we need it. And just hold this one for me now, mate. So just shy of where we want you, but slightly better than the left side. And does that feel much different for you?
No, it feels there's not a tight in the back.
Yeah, so that's probably a good indicator that this hip's rotating well, and obviously that's our trail leg for our rotation. Obviously important, but left side needs a bit of work for you, which we can talk about afterwards as well. Cool. Alrighty, so we'll just note that down there. Alrighty, so we're going to do now some wrist and elbow test now. So I'll get you now facing the camera here. We're going to have the elbows in this position. And you're going to try and take the wrists towards your body here. Sorry, so it'll be almost the wrist bending and flexing. There you go. Good. And now open hands, going back the other way. Nice. Let's go the other way again. Good. And a quick way of checking this at home is we grab a 6 iron. So if you try that for me, both hands. We look at the loft or the lie of the club, and Dan's getting past that, which is good. And also on the other side is getting past that as well. So this is a good way of testing for wrist and elbow injuries, such as golfer's elbow or tennis elbow. If you're really restricted in that movement, you might have more tension through those muscles. It's really important to make sure you're getting enough range through them. Okay? So now we'll get you with the palms, elbows locked in by the sides as well, trying to rotate up and then rotate down as far as you can. Let's try that a couple more times. That looks A-okay. Nice. And now we'll do your neck now. So I'll get you trying to turn towards the left and taking the chin down towards the collarbone. Let's try that one more time going towards your left, and you'll try and keep your shoulder down here. What do you feel with that one?
Very tightness in the
Okay.
left neck.
Okay, so let's try that same test going towards your left. And let's try towards the right now. Okay, how does that feel right versus left?
No pain in the right, severe pain in the left.
Okay, any pain down the shoulder, or is it more so?
No, just muscle right there.
Okay, fine. And with neck rotation, it's a pretty important one for the golf swing as well. We don't realise it, but as we're doing a backswing, our neck's coming into left rotation. Any impact, you're coming into right neck rotation. So if you're swinging faster, obviously that rotation velocity increases, which can cause pain and stiffness as well. So very important for golfers to stretch and strengthen the neck as well. Alrighty, we're going to do a glute test now. So we'll get you lying down. Would you like a mat too, mate?
Please.
Yeah. So we're going to do a single leg bridge. So we might get it facing this way.
So facing towards you.
We'll get you facing the camera here, mate.
Yep.
So the goal with this one is to hold it for 20 seconds. So we'll get you lying when you're ready.
Yep.
Lying down, and we'll get you facing the ceiling. That's it. So let's try having this leg bent, this leg hovered up, and I want you to lift your hips up here. So you're going to try and hold this for 30 seconds. How's this one feeling so far?
A bit tight in the lower back.
Okay. Are you feeling anything in the hamstrings?
Left hamstring, yeah.
Any cramping?
No, it's very tight.
Okay. And let's try the other side. Yep, same again. And does that feel any different for you, mate?
Only on the right side.
Okay, and let's have a break there. So quite good with that test, so good strength in the hips it seems. So we're going to get you sitting up, mate. We've got 2 more tests to go, which are upper back rotation and lat length. So let's go to this bench over here, mate. So we're going to have a couple of clubs in front of you. So this is about a 45-degree measure. So TPI test is 45 degrees of rotation. I like to see a bit more than that with most of my golfers, but we'll see if you pass the TPI test. Yeah, so just trying to rotate slowly, mate.
Right or left?
Let's go left to start with. So as far as you can. And you're getting past parallel of this club here, so you're past there, which is good. And let's try now rotating the other direction. And again, you're getting past parallel, which is a good measure. So let's try another test with your hands across your chest and trying those same movements slowly. So we'll get you going left to start with. So you're making quite a good shoulder turn there, almost 90 degrees, and turning towards the right. And slightly less rotation it looks like in that direction there. So with most of my golfers, I like to see 90 degrees of shoulder rotation, just allows you to complete a full backswing. And like we mentioned, upper back rotation is pretty important when it comes to the golf swing. Righty, so last test we're going to do is against one of these walls. So we're going to go into a lat length test now. So to measure this, you'll have your shoulder blade against the wall, keeping your arm out straight, and you're trying to lift towards the ceiling slowly. So if your shoulder blade lifts, that's a measure to say that your lat is stopping you from doing so. It's not a perfect test, but a decent one. So let's give that a try. We'll have your left shoulder there first. So you're going to try and keep this part of your shoulder blade against the wall, arm out straight, and slowly coming up. Let's try that again, mate. Coming back down, elbow locked out, lifting up. I'm just going to tell you when to stop, and stop there. As you can tell, the shoulder blade starts to come off. So not too bad. Ideally, you want your arm touching the wall. You're just around your nose there. So let's try this side here. Good. Let's try that one more time. Slowly lifting up, and stop there. So with that one as well, pretty similar plane. And what did you feel with those?
Not much there, just more lat tightness.
Okay. So we've done all the tests now. So I'm just going to quickly load up the TPI app and see what your handicap is. So let's see if we can get that sorted. But do you want to tell the audience about what you felt and things that you may have picked up on in the assessment?
So mostly in the neck turn one, I did feel a lot more tightness in my neck. My lower back doing the testing was very tight. But as I said before, I have had back surgery, so I knew it was going to happen. And a lot just more tenderness in the elbow when I did the wrist test, but didn't affect my bending too much at all.
Yeah. Okay, good. And with the TPI test, we've just analysed it now. So you're a 24 handicap based on the TPI system. And I've seen a lot of good golfers get really poor handicaps as well. So it's not a direct correlation to how you're going to play golf, but it's going to show you limitations that you might want to work on. I think if you improve some of those movements, you'll probably feel better just in the way that your body moves. You might get a bit more speed as well, just freeing up rotation, and also it'll make you a bit easier to coach as well. So if you've got a coach that you're working with, it allows you to get into positions a bit easier. So your limitations were mainly the hip rotation that we saw, the neck, obviously, the balance was poor on the affected side, but other parts of the test you did quite well. So going forward, your glute test was good, but again, there's some good things to work on there for you. Any questions with those?
Anything else that you'd recommend for someone with my injuries, with what you've seen for the stretching side?
Yeah, for sure. I think consistency is the big thing. So we've got a stretching guide here that you've used of mine. So I encourage all my golfers to do a warm up, doing stretches before you play, before you hit balls. So that includes rotation of the shoulders, the back, the hips. If anyone wants that, go to my website, golfphysiotherapyaustralia.com. They can get it there, or send us a message. They're the big things, and also before you play, doing some core strength work as well. So I'm happy to go through some testing for your core as well if you want to do that.